Chapter 1249. You haven't been using eye masks lately, have you? Huamin was almost convinced by Hua Xiqian's question. Was it really okay for a man to pay attention to the beauty of a female celebrity? She really wanted to kneel down. So, you have crow's feet at the corner of your eyes? Really? Huamin couldn't believe it, so she raised her hand and touched it. It must be because you've been busy with work and haven't been resting well. Did you use what I asked my secretary to get you last time? Yeah, I used it all. Huamin nodded. I'll get someone from the company to send you some more. The Hua Xiqian had a famous cosmetics brand that was one of the top brands in the country, so Hua Xiqian knew a lot about cosmetics. Huamin, on the other hand, was a natural beauty lover. She didn't like makeup and didn't know much about skin care. Therefore, she didn't know much about it. It's okay, I'm still young. I'll be fine. You're young now, but what about 10 years from now? When you're old, do you think Qinchu will still love your face forever? Huamin, so you're saying that my husband will have a change of heart and cheat on me? Huamin's face turned cold. No, what I mean is, Miss Huamin, it's time for you to take care of your skin, okay? After speaking, Hua Xiqian gracefully finished the last mouthful of crab porridge and turned to leave. I'm going to go check the accounts, I'll leave this trash to you. After speaking, Hua Xiqian smiled and walked out of Huamin's office. Damn, this guy is a pervert. He came to the hospital to eat porridge before the sun rises. Huamin complained as she cleaned up the mess. After seeing that it was about time, she went to the meeting room on the top floor. She didn't pay attention to the conversation with Hua Xiqian this morning. However, when she came back from the cafeteria at noon, she was shocked by the dozen or so skincare products. What the hell is this? Huamin looked at the pile of documents on his desk. Hello, Miss Hua Xiqian. I'm the secretary of the president of the Hua Corporation, Mr. Hua Xiqian. He asked me to deliver these skincare products to you. This. How much are these? Huamin stuttered. She was truly in the wrong. If that black-hearted Hua Xiqian were to demand an exorbitant price of tens of thousands of yuan, how could she bear to part with it? The female secretary couldn't help laughing and replied, The president said that it's a gift for you, Miss Hua. These are the new products that the company has been developing recently. They have just been introduced to the market and the feedback is good. Please accept them, Miss Hua. Please thank Mr. Hua for me. You're welcome, Miss Hua. Since you're the president's younger sister, this is what I should do. I won't disturb you any further, Miss Hua. Call me if you need anything. After that, the female secretary politely left a business card and turned to leave. Huamin looked at the platinum-colored boxes of skincare products. There were facial masks, eye masks, and foot masks written on them. The most outrageous one was the butt mask. Ahem. Does anyone buy this? It's so perverted. This was the first time in Huamin's life that people put masks on their buttocks. Did they think they were phones? Full-body masks? Would the Hua Corporation's cosmetics come out with tempered masks in the future? Explosion-resistant masks? Something like that. It was unimaginable. Huamin casually picked one up and flipped through it. He was almost shocked by the price tag. It was just eye mask. There were 6 pairs of them inside. The price was actually 3,998 yuan. How ridiculous. 6 pairs of eye masks cost 4,000 yuan. Didn't that mean that a pair of eye masks cost almost 700 yuan? And it was the kind that would be thrown away after use. This price was really exciting. 4,000 yuan per box. Hua Xiqian sent a total of 15 boxes. At first glance, it was estimated to be more than 60,000 yuan. When Hua Xiqian burned money, he was no worse than Suyu. He was a god-level tycoon. Huamin didn't need that much himself, so he gave some to his assistant Chen Jia. The young girl was very flattered. When he got off work, Qin Chu came to pick him up on time. Huamin put the things in the trunk before getting into the car. Honey, did your hospital give out a fortune? What the hell is that? Soybean oil or flour? Mr. Qin was a genius. Chapter 1250. Soybean oil? Flour? Do you think I'm an elementary school teacher? Huamin couldn't stop laughing. What are you laughing at? Honey, can you not be so funny? Southside is a high-end rehabilitation center, but after hearing what you said, I feel like it's downgraded. Then what are they? They're skincare products, not from the hospital. They're from Hua Xiqian. Hua Xiqian gave them to you? Qin Chu was slightly surprised. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with him this morning, but he came to the Hua Foundation really early to check the accounts. When he saw me, he told me that I have crow's feet and insisted on giving me eye masks and face masks. Didn't he send them over at noon? I think he might also want me to advertise the Huo Corporation's new product. Yeah, that's possible. Qin Chu didn't say anything else. He didn't show any signs of jealousy. Huo Xiqian was a very complicated person, and Qin Chu didn't have any evidence to back up his assumptions. He also didn't want to burden Huo Min. Unlike Su Yu, Huo Xiqian was very introverted and liked to keep everything to himself. He also used his actions to prove how good he was to Huo Min, not with words. That was why Huo Min felt very secure when he was with Qin Chu. It was as if he had a feeling that no one in this world loved him more than Qin Chu did. He felt an inexplicable sense of trust and security. Honey, what are we eating tonight? Didn't you want to eat roasted lamb leg a while ago? Let's go, I made reservations. Wow, that's awesome. Huo Min was as happy as a child. He held onto Qin Chu's face and kissed it. His saliva got all over Qin Chu's face. However, Qin Chu, who was a clean freak, refused to wipe it off, because it was the mark of his beloved wife. If Gao Ran saw this, he would probably say that Qin Chu was a crazy wife protector. Huo Min had wanted to eat roast lamb leg for a long time. Huo Min didn't like mutton very much because it had a rank odor. However, the roasted leg of lamb was different. After being marinated with secret ingredients, the leg of lamb did not have a rank odor and was roasted in a stove. It was simply perfect in terms of appearance, smell, and taste. Last time she and Jiang Shaowei were about to start eating, but Su Yu and the others came. In order to avoid arousing suspicion, Huo Min slipped away before eating, so she really didn't get to eat a single bite. She had been so busy recently that she had forgotten about it. However, Qin Chu remembered every word she said, even if it was said carelessly. He would remember it in his heart. Every time this happened, Huo Min would feel warmth in his heart. The sufferings that she had suffered with Qin Chu in the past were nothing. However, she didn't know that God's test for them wouldn't end like this. In the end, Huo Min wanted to kill herself several times to end the pain. It was all because she couldn't stand the painful separation from Qin Chu. Of course, this was all in the future. Right now, Huo Min still didn't realize that disaster was coming. When Qin Chu drove, she leaned on his shoulder like a little bird. She smelled his unique scent of hormones. She gently placed her right hand on top of Qin Chu's right hand and interlocked their fingers. Honey, if you're like this, it's hard for me to concentrate on driving, Mr. Qin complained. Haha, then pretend that I don't exist. How can I do that? You're just blatantly seducing me, okay? Then why don't we have sex at that red light up ahead? Huo Min joked for the first time. Qin Chu's face darkened. Honey, you know that red light only lasts for 35 seconds. What can we do in such a short time? Don't you know what we can do in such a short time? Huo Min asked in all seriousness. Are you mocking me? Mr. Qin finally realized that he had been played. Huo Min laughed hysterically. Very well, I'll remember this and deal with you tonight. Qin Chu didn't know what to do with her, so he pinched her white fingers lovingly. When they arrived at the roasted lamb leg restaurant, Qin Chu was just about to reverse into the parking lot when Huo Min suddenly saw something and said, Honey, stop the car. Then she immediately opened the car door and got out. Chapter 1251. Qin Chu looked in the direction that Huo Min was heading and saw a woman in a red evening gown standing at the entrance of the hotel. It was Hui Yanyan. Hui Yanyan's hair was up in a bun and she wore a very ordinary evening gown that didn't look very expensive. Her makeup wasn't very good either. Compared to Jiang Shaowei and Song Yisher's wedding, it was a world of difference. Right now she was wearing a wedding corsage on her gown. She was escorting the guests out. When she saw Huo Min, she was also a bit shocked. She didn't expect to see him at an event like this. Huo Min hadn't seen Hui Yanyan in a long time. Apparently, after Shen Jiani lost for nothing, she was living a miserable life. He helped her out twice before, but later he heard that she was very afraid of Huo Xiqian. So she found a boyfriend and moved out. Apparently he was a construction contractor. However, Huo Min didn't expect her to get married so soon. Huo Xiqian's wedding was yesterday and hers was today. Huo Xiqian's wedding was at a famous 5-star hotel. Hui Yanyan's wedding was at a small restaurant next to the roasted lamb leg. It didn't look very big. She couldn't help but feel a bit sad. She used to be quite famous in the socialite circle. Now she was in such a predicament. She had to admit that every dog has its day. Are getting married today? Huo Min was the first to speak. He looked at Hui Yanyan in a bridal gown in disbelief. Yes. Hui Yanyan nodded. She was getting married, but no one from her family was present. It was a very lonely day. After Hu Xiqian knocked Hu Jinghai down, he retreated to a 3-bedroom apartment in the Hu manor to recuperate. He refused to see anyone, and it seemed like he had suffered quite a blow. Hu Xiqian hired a nurse to take care of him so no one could see him. Xin Jiani had already absconded with her son and the adulterer with the last bucket of gold. However, life abroad wasn't that great either. Sometimes Hu Si would call Hui Yanyan to ask for money. Hui Yanyan didn't have much money herself. It wasn't easy for her to find a contractor boyfriend who treated her quite well. He often bought her clothes and gave her some money, but she couldn't bear to spend it on herself and sent it overseas. He had to admit that his days were tough. Therefore, she did not tell anyone about her marriage. Her former fair-weather friends had also disappeared. Humin was the only one who didn't hit her when she was down. She still felt that he was out of her league. Why didn't you say anything? Humin looked at Hui Yanyan sadly. She was no longer as arrogant as she used to be. Instead, she looked calm and peaceful. I'm embarrassed. You know that I don't have any family here. My mom and brother went abroad and our dad is like that. Hu Xiqian and Jiang Hong want me to disappear immediately. I can't stay in the Hu family anymore, so I stopped contacting my old friends. After I left, I met this man and got married. I was so mean to you in the past and I'm so grateful that you helped me. How could I ask you to come to my wedding? Hui Yanyan crossed her hands and gently rubbed them together. It was obvious that she was still a little nervous in front of Humin. That person, does he treat you well? Humin looked at Hui Yanyan, who was wearing a cheap gown, with pity. She was exceptionally beautiful today. Humin had known her for a long time, but he had never seen such a beautiful Hui Yanyan before. Her big eyes were watery and she had dimples on her face. She didn't have the stink of money from before. Humin was a little surprised that Hui Yanyan got married so quickly. Previously, she had been hell-bent on chasing after young Master Shen, trying desperately to compete with Wei Ying. At that time, Humin thought that even if she wasn't doing well, she would at least find a rich second-generation heir. Chapter 1252. He treats me really well. He's more than 10 years older than me and he's been widowed for more than 2 years. He also has a 6-year-old boy living with his grandmother. Although he's not very rich and he takes on some small projects every year, it's not too bad. Hey, I'm doing really well right now, Hui Yanyan carefully recalled. Once when she went to a bar to get drunk, she was almost taken away by a few hooligans. It was this person who saved her in the nick of time. He even opened a hotel for her and gave her some money. Hui Yanyan hadn't felt this kind of warmth in a long time, especially when she was at her lowest point in life. Therefore, she treated this feeling as love, or perhaps it was the last straw that saved her from the Hu family. That's good. Actually, as long as you can live a normal life, it's also a form of happiness, Humin slowly said as he looked at her. Humin thought that it was good that Hui Yanyan got over it. Otherwise, with her current status, even if she married into a rich family, she would still be treated coldly. Plus, her husband might not even be faithful. She might as well find a normal family to live with. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I just hope that I can forget about the past and start afresh. Hui Yanyan said word for word. Humin took out her wallet from her bag. She didn't carry a lot of cash with her every day. She only had around 3,000 to 5,000. She estimated that she probably had less than 4,000 on hand right now. Therefore, she took out 3,000 yuan and handed it to Hui Yanyan. Take it. No, I don't want it. Hui Yanyan obviously didn't want to take it. Take it, it's a gift. Congratulations on your wedding. After speaking, before Hui Yanyan could say anything, Humin stuffed the money into her hands. Hui Yanyan's emotions were complicated, and tears seemed to be glistening in her eyes. She never thought that there would be a day when she would get married. On such an important day, her parents and brother weren't by her side. Only Humin, her former enemy, was by her side. This was the biggest irony in life. Humin, thank you for forgiving me. I'm not as magnanimous as you are and I'm not as broad-minded as you are, so I'm destined to never get the happiness that you got. But I still have to thank you. You've taught me a lot. Maybe it's not the worst thing that happened to me, but it's the most unforgettable experience. I feel that you're still able to treat me so calmly even though I treated you so badly back then. I have to say that's not something an ordinary person can do. If you were a man you would have achieved great things. Humin smiled. But I'm a woman. So, there are so many people who like you, and there are also so many people who want to protect you. Hui Yanyan seemed to know something. She looked at Humin with a complicated gaze. Ah? Yanyan, is this your friend? The groom walked out and put his arm around Hui Yanyan's shoulder. Humin could clearly see that it was an ordinary-looking and slightly old man. He was wearing a rustic suit and was slightly plump. The good thing was that he looked familiar, so he didn't look annoying. This is my friend, Hui Yanyan introduced. Welcome, welcome. There's a banquet inside, please come in. The groom looked very welcoming. It's okay, my husband is waiting for me. I'll leave first. I wish you all the best. After Humin gave the wedding gift, she didn't want to stay any longer, so she turned around and left. When she returned to the restaurant next door, Qin Chu got out of his car as well. What's wrong? Why do you look so sad? Qin Chu could tell that Humin wasn't in a good mood. Hui Yanyan got married to a middle-aged man who's more than 10 years older than her. He's widowed and has a 6-year-old son. I never thought that this would be her final destination. I feel a little sad. Qin Chu gently hugged Humin and patted her back to comfort her. Silly girl, she used to be your enemy. But she's also an old friend of mine. Humin's voice was a little choked up. As a woman she felt sad for Hui Yanyan's fate. Who are these two? They're hugging each other on the street. Seriously, they're such an eyesore. The woman's voice was domineering. Upon hearing such a familiar voice, Humin turned her head and smiled through her tears. Why are you two idiots here? Chapter 1253. When Humin saw Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling, she was pleasantly surprised. Everyone had been busy for the past few days, and aside from the occasional WeChat message, they didn't really keep in touch. When she was in such a low mood, she was able to see her two best friends who were on extremely good terms with each other. It was really as if the clouds had dispersed and the mist had dispersed. Mr. Qin contacted us. He said he wanted to treat us to roasted lamb. Zhu Lingling playfully pointed at Qin Chu. Humin looked at Qin Chu with happiness written all over her face. Why didn't you tell me? Would it be a surprise if I told you? Qin Chu lovingly patted Humin's head. Hey, okay, can you guys stop torturing us? That's enough, stop being so lovey-dovey. As Zhu Lingling spoke, she walked up and wrapped her arms around Humin's arm. Where's your police? He's on duty, he said he'll be here soon. Humin turned around and looked at Xiaowei. Where's young Master Wei? He was stuck in a traffic jam. I came in Lingling's car and took the highway. Ha, you're smart. Come on, let's go in first. As he spoke, Humin walked into the restaurant with Zhu Lingling on his left arm and Jiang Xiaowei on his right arm. Qin Chu booked a luxurious private room. The three of them sat inside, and Humin and her two best friends chatted and laughed, completely forgetting about the sadness they felt because of Hui Yanyan. Qin Chu was on his phone doing business. Soon Wei Liao and Gao Ran arrived as well. The three couples sitting together were especially eye-catching, because they were all handsome guys and pretty girls. There was even a hilarious episode in the middle. A waiter knocked on the door and came in asking for a photo and autographs. At the time, Gao Ran asked in a showy manner, "Do I look like a celebrity?" "Actually, I'm not." Who knew that the waiter would reply, "No, it's just that you guys are pretty good looking and maybe one of you will become famous in the future. So, I wanted to take a photo with you guys first. What if you become famous in the future?" After the waiter said this, the others couldn't help but laugh. Zhu Lingling laughed the loudest, and she wrapped her arms around Gao Ran's neck. "Mr. Policeman, I didn't know you could be embarrassed like this." Jiang Xiaowei looked at the waiter and laughed. "It's a waste of your brain to be a waitress. Why don't you follow me in the stock market? You have such foresight and can even see the future. You're really a genius." Actually, this waiter's eyes is. He was the waiter in charge of this private room. When he saw how good-looking the guests were, he was stunned. Naturally, he's was. So he took a photo, take a photo, he, years is ins in yeni took a year's day like a, asini. "Mr. Policeman, your Photoshop skills are pretty good, it looks real." "Waiter, I didn't Photoshop, this is a real photo, okay?" "Yeni, but why did you take a photo with these big shots?" "Waiter, big shots? What big shots?" "Yeni, don't tell me you don't know these people." "Waiter, I really don't know them, I used to be a waiter in a restaurant and I took a photo with them on a whim." Yenny, waiter, so they're all? Yenny, come let me introduce you. The man on the left with a bright smile is the CEO of the Wei Financial Group, and the woman next to him is Mrs. Wei, who was pregnant at the time. She's a famous psychologist in the country, and later opened the largest psychology hospital in the country. The tall, muscular man next to them is the famous Chief Gao of the City Bureau, and the woman next to him is his wife. I heard that she's now running her own perfume brand, and she's a very capable career woman. Waiter. What about the last couple? The man with the best looks and the pretty girl beside him? Why do I feel like they're the best? Chapter 1254. Junior, they're the best. They used to be the most powerful people in Sea City. The man is rich and has billions of dollars in assets. He's a famous tycoon in Asia. The woman is smart and is a famous medical celebrity in the country and even the world. She's the only female Nobel Prize winner from China. He shocked the world. Let me tell you, uncle, this photo of yours can be sold for at least 1 million yuan. Waiter, where are they now? Are they still in Sea City? Junior, later. They went through a lot of things. I can't tell you all of them in a short time, but I recommend you watch a good TV series. It's about the legend of their lives. Waiter, what TV series? Junior, Secret Marriage and Sweet Love. Waiter, what's that? Junior, it's based on a good romance novel called Secret Marriage and Sweet Love. A paranoid husband is addicted to spoiling. Waiter, I've never heard of it. Junior, anyway, uncle, you really had the foresight many years ago. You were so lucky to have such a big group photo. Anyway, any one of them is a top figure in the country. Waiter, okay. I finally know what it means to unintentionally plant a willow and grow a shade. When the 6 couples got together, they always had fun. At first, Wei Liao wasn't used to it. After all, he and Suyu had been buddies since they were kids. So, when he was with Qin Chu, he felt like a traitor who betrayed his buddies. So, young Master Wei was always gloomy when they got together. Later on, thanks to Dr. Zhang's guidance and brainwashing, Wei Liao happily joined the couple army and even shared a happy photo with his friends on WeChat. He posted a photo of the 6 of them eating roast lamb leg. He added the caption, "Gathering with my wife's best friend." The moment the photo was posted, the comment section was full of comments. Wei Ying, wow. My second brother and second sister-in-law are so happy. They're showing off their love again. Tang Chuan, traitor, absolutely traitor. While Lord Su is going down south, you defected to the enemy. I look down on you. By the way, is the lamb leg delicious? Give me the address. Wei Liao replied to Tang Chuan, get lost. A few seconds later, Su left a comment at the bottom of the post. The one on the left in the photo is there a high-definition image. Asking for a large sum of money. Wei Liao almost fainted after reading it. Who else could Swasan be but Huamin? However, young Master Wei purposely teased Lord Su and replied, Swasan? Are you talking about that kid from the criminal police unit? Suyu, fuck off, don't play dumb with me. That's the third person on the right, I'm talking about the third person on the left. I'll give you one last chance to speak properly. Otherwise, do you believe that I'll take a plane back to strangle you? Wei Liao, Lord Su, please spare my life. I'll send you the picture immediately. Tang Chuan, Master Wei, you have no integrity. I look down on you. Speaking of which, is the lamb leg delicious? Continue to ask for the address or send me your location. Wei Liao replied to Tang Chuan, fuck off, you little bastard. Wei Liao was a man of action. After sending a WeChat message to Suyu, he raised his phone and secretly took a photo of Huamin. She realized that the photo wasn't very clear, so she took 2 more photos. What are you doing? Jiang Xiaowei leaned over and whispered into Wei Liao's ear. Damn Wei Wei, are you trying to scare me to death? I'm asking you what you're doing. Nothing, I wanted to post it on WeChat so I took a photo. Wei Liao felt guilty and immediately put down his phone. Huamin, who was talking, looked over curiously. Wei Liao felt guilty again. He immediately turned his head and wiped Jiang Xiaowei's mouth with a tissue. Wei Wei, look at you, your mouth is covered in oil. Fuck, can you not wipe my mouth with the tissue you just used to wipe your mouth? Wei Liao was speechless. He picked it up and looked at it. Indeed, he panicked and took the wrong one. Fortunately, he successfully sent the photo to Suyu. Suyu, who was in the South China Sea, was at the beach as the sun set. He listened to the ebb and flow of the tide and looked at the photo on his phone. His eyes were filled with endless gentleness. Chapter 1255. In the photo, Huimin's hair cascaded down to her shoulders. It was very similar to the hairstyle of the female lead in the popular web drama, Brooding Over My Heart. She had this hairstyle in high school and Chin-Chu liked it very much. Once when they were chatting, Chin-Chu said that he liked her hair like this. Huimin decided to style Chin-Chu's hair again. But strangely, even though the 24-year-old Huimin had the hairstyle from 7 years ago, it didn't look out of place. Youth didn't leave too many traces on her face. Whether it was 7 years ago or 7 years later, Huimin always looked so calm and collected. She had a maturity and magnanimity that people her age didn't have. She was dressed very simply. She only wore a white shirt with a red spider lily embroidered on the collar. The black silk thread set off the white shirt, and it looked exceptionally beautiful. With a delicate face and such a fresh outfit, Huimin always gave people the feeling of being bathed in the spring breeze. Suyu quietly looked at the photo and felt an inexplicable sense of tranquility in his heart. It was said that one's honey was another's arsenic. This saying was not false at all when it came to Suyu. To Chin-Chu, Huimin was his honey. Their high school days were Chin-Chu's most beautiful treasures. To Suyu, Huimin's purity, which he didn't have time to participate in, was a touch of arsenic. Every time he saw her and Chin-Chu standing together and smiling happily, he would feel so much pain that he wanted to die. Young master, the chief wants you to go back for a meeting. Okay. Suyu carefully put away his phone and walked in the direction of the military camp. When he followed his grandfather to the south, he wasn't a playboy who ate, drank, and played all day. Instead, he put on a military uniform and trained every day like the soldiers. He went to bed early and woke up early, doing what a normal soldier should do. So, every day was very fulfilling. He didn't dare to let himself relax because whenever he had time, his thoughts would run wild. Whenever his thoughts ran wild, he would think of the girl named Huimin. Whenever he thought of the girl named Huimin, his heart would hurt again. It was an endless cycle. Back at the military camp, Grandpa was having a meeting with a few subordinates. When they saw Suyu come in, they smiled. You're getting better and better. It's time to find a wife. Uncle Zhang cancelled it. I'm still too young. Young? When the chief was your age, your father was already 5 years old. Suyu was speechless. Come here. Your uncles have put in a lot of effort for your marriage. They even picked out a lot of pictures of female soldiers from the military doctors. Come and take a look. Don't you like female doctors the most? These are all. Grandpa Su had more than 20 photos of girls in military uniforms. Each one was prettier than the other. Grandpa, what's wrong? Grandpa, I came down south with you to experience life again. I'm not here to find a wife. Besides, if I wanted to find one, there are plenty in our hometown. There's no need for me to come all the way here. Listen, my grandson. When he's arguing, he's so reasonable. Master Lord Su pointed at Suyu helplessly. You don't make things too difficult for your grandpa. He's old. Grandpa's subordinates tried to persuade him. Suyu glanced at them and then at Lord Su. Then he said word by word, I didn't make things difficult for Grandpa. Grandpa, please don't make things difficult for me. I'm an adult and have the right to make my own choices. If Grandpa wants, I can dedicate my life to the army. Even if I die for the country, I won't regret it. But please don't make things difficult for me in this aspect. I only have one heart. I want to make my own decisions. Suyu pointed at his chest and said proudly, You're the one who said that. Lord Su's eyes moistened when he heard this. He casually put the photo aside. He sighed. Forget it, little brat. I won't care about you anymore. You can do whatever you want in the future, but you'll always be my proudest grandson. In a restaurant in Sea City, the 6 couples were eating and the atmosphere was very lively. Zhu Lingling, the clown, suggested, Why don't we play a game to test your IQ? What do you think? Chapter 1256. Ahem. Lingling, calm down. Don't take things too hard, okay? Gao Ran quickly stopped Zhu Lingling. Zhu Lingling rolled her eyes at him. How am I taking things too hard? Are you sure you want to play an IQ test game with Huimin and Dr. Jiang? Gao Ran purposely dragged out his words. Wei Liao and Qin Chu both smiled but didn't say anything. So what? Zhu Lingling was still arrogant. Are you sure you don't want to die? It's fine if we're not smart, but can't we have some self-awareness? I'm not going to do something like that. Fine, if you don't agree, you can move out of my house tonight. Gao Ran, you can't threaten me like that, right? Gao Ran looked like he was about to cry. Zhu Lingling's unreasonable behavior was super uncute. Are you guys living together? Huamin covered his mouth and laughed. Yeah, aren't you going to invite us to cook the pot? Are we still considered best friends? Jiang Shaowei added fuel to the fire. Only then did Zhu Lingling realize that she had let the cat out of the bag. Gao Ran covered his head and sighed. I'm not afraid of a godlike opponent, but I'm afraid of a pig-like teammate. What are you talking about? Zhu Lingling raised her voice. Gao Ran was so scared that he immediately sat up straight and said, I say Lingling, whatever you say is right. Let's play a game that tests our IQ. Worst comes to worst, we'll be the first to get 5th or 6th place. Zhu Lingling, would it really be that bad? Zhu Lingling didn't believe it. Hey, you guys with insanely high IQs, do you dare to play? Zhu Lingling looked at Jiang Shaowei and Huamin provocatively. I'm fine with anything, Huamin replied calmly. Same here, Jiang Shaowei replied domineeringly. Zhu Lingling put her hands on her hips and looked back at Qin Chu and Wei Liao. What about you two? I'll listen to my wife. Wei Liao hugged Shaowei and said sweetly. Qin Chu pinched Huamin's cheek. My Mian has the final say. Gao Ran looked at the two of them with disdain. I really look down on you two henpecked slaves. Then he leaned over to Zhu Lingling with a cheeky smile and asked, Lingling, as long as you're happy, anything is fine? Qin Chu was speechless. Wei Liao was speechless. So, stop making fun of us, you're a slave to your wife. Is the pot calling the kettle black? Mr. Qin retorted. However, Gao Ran shamelessly said, Please, I'm different from you. How are we different? Wei Liao froze. You guys have wives and I'm your girlfriend. So we're different, Gao Ran said with a smug smile. So we're legally sleeping together and you're illegally living together? Is it really okay to knowingly break the law? The People's Police are a bit. Wei Liao laughed. Yeah, what's the phone number of the municipal bureau? I want to report it, Qin Chu cooperated. Gao Ran, ahem. Everyone come, let's eat and drink, let's eat and drink. He dug a hole and ended up falling into it himself. It wasn't the first time Gao Ran did this and everyone was already used to it. At this moment, Zhu Lingling was still in high spirits. Are you guys going to play or not? Of course, Sister Lingling is finally in the mood, why not? Huamin laughed. Yeah, we'll definitely risk our lives to play with you, Jiang Shaowei replied while playing on her phone. Don't think you're so great just because you guys have high IQ. Let me tell you, our game this time is very difficult. You might not win just because you're smart. Zhu Lingling said confidently. Chapter 1257. So what are the rules? Sister Lingling, can you tell us about them? Huamin rarely saw Zhu Lingling so happy, so he decided to play along with her. Let's talk about the stakes first. The loser will put 1,000 yuan on the table and the winner will take it all. You're obviously trying to scam us. Huamin laughed. Yes, that's what I mean. Do you guys dare to play? Okay. We're all okay. Huamin and Jiang Shaowei knew Zhu Lingling well, so they accepted the challenge without even thinking. The problem was Zhu Lingling hadn't told them the rules yet. So, the beautiful and kind Miss Zhu Lingling, can you tell us the rules of the game now? Gao Ran was getting impatient. The rules of the game are actually very simple, we just have to tell jokes. Finally, Zhu Lingling laid out her cards. Tell jokes? What kind of IQ game is this? Gao Ran was speechless. Let's each tell a story. If everyone laughs, you win. If one person doesn't laugh, you lose. The loser has to take out 1,000 yuan and put it on the stage in the middle. The winner takes it all. Huh. Zhu Lingling was extremely proud of herself. Look at how cocky you are, as if you're going to win for sure. Jiang Shaowei laughed as she looked at Zhu Lingling. So, everyone tell us the most classic joke of your life. We're going to talk about heroes while drinking. Then Zhu Lingling took the initiative to pick up the wine glass and filled everyone's glass. Jiang Shaowei was pregnant, so she used mineral water instead. In the end, after everyone drank a cup of wine together, Gao Ran proudly stood up. I'll tell a joke first. I'm an expert at telling jokes. Everyone in our station is laughing so hard that they can't stop. So you're done? Mr. Qin asked quietly from the side. Bullshit, I haven't said anything yet, okay? Gao Ran glared at Qin Chu. Huamin and Jiang Shaowei were amused. Hurry up and tell us. Don't waste our time. Zhu Lingling pushed Gao Ran's waist with her fist. Gao Ran began to narrate the story vividly. It was said that an abbot was meditating when he suddenly encountered a bandit who placed a large saber on his neck. Bandit. Damn old man, take out all your money and I'll spare your life. Abbot. Money is just a worldly possession. You can't bring it with you when you're alive and you can't bring it with you when you die. Benefactor, take it, take it. Then the abbot handed the money bag to the criminal. Bandit. Is this what you got from begging for alms in your life? Can you really bear to do that? Abbot. Buddhism emphasizes on karma and reincarnation. You and I had karma in our past lives, so today's karma has resulted in today's karma. The criminal was quite moved. Abbot, I have committed grave sins. Do you have a way to save me? Abbot, yes. Bandit, what is it? Abbot, lay down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha. Then the bandit put down the knife in his hand and bowed his head in repentance. The abbot took a step forward, picked up the large saber on the ground and placed it on the bandit's neck. He scolded, "Give me back my money, you little bastard." After Gao Ran finished narrating the story vividly, Huamin and Jiang Shaowei laughed out loud. Qin Chu and Wei Liao were more reserved. They only smiled slightly. Zhu Lingling, who was beside him, looked calm. She actually didn't laugh. You're not giving me face? Gao Ran complained. Zhu Lingling stretched out her hand. Cut the crap. Pay up. Gao Ran felt that his story was quite funny. If he told this joke once in the bureau, both the newcomers and the seniors would laugh. However, why did Zhu Lingling, who was usually easily amused, jump when she heard it? Gao Ran had no choice but to admit defeat. He took out his wallet, took out 1,000 yuan, and placed it in the small bamboo basket at the center of the table. Who's next? Zhu Lingling asked happily. Upon seeing Zhu Lingling's smug expression, Huamian whispered to Jiang Shaowei, "I think Zhu Lingling is going to use her ultimate move against us today. Then let me tell one." Wei Liao saw that no one was eager to speak, so he stood up. Jiang Shaowei tilted her head and looked at her husband. To be honest, she was looking forward to how funny her husband could be. Chapter 1258. Little Chick wants to know what happiness is. So he went to ask the tiger, and the tiger said that happiness is being together as a family. Little Chick went to ask the lion, and the lion said that having 3 wives and 4 concubines is happiness. Little Chick didn't want to give up, so he went to ask the leopard, and the leopard said that having a healthy body is happiness. In the end, Little Chick happily went home and told his mother about everything that happened today. His mother patted his head and said with deep meaning, "Child, you're the happiest today." Little Chick didn't understand why. His mother said, "You're lucky that you came back alive today. Look at the people you asked, they were so fucking scary." After Wei Liao finished, Jiang Shaowei burst out laughing. Then she pinched Wei Liao coquettishly and said, "Why didn't you tell me something this funny? I just remembered." "Honey, don't pinch me, it's going to bruise." He looked around and saw that everyone was laughing except for Zhu Lingling, who was still as calm as ever. "Are you determined to win our money?" Wei Liao laughed. "Little guy, just hold it in. Let's see how long you can hold it in." Jiang Shaowei was also amused. Just then Wei Liao admitted defeat. He took out 1,000 yuan from his wallet and placed it in the bamboo basket. This was the second person to lose so miserably. It seemed like everyone was off to a bad start. Just then Huamin pulled on Qin Chu's sleeve and said, "Honey, why don't you tell one too? All the guys here have done it, it's your turn now." Mr. Qin thought hard. He had always been cold and arrogant and he rarely turned into a joker, so it was quite difficult for him to tell a joke. But since Huamin asked, he couldn't disappoint his wife. So Qin Chu stood up awkwardly and said seriously, "Then I'll tell one. It might not be funny and there might be an awkward silence." "It's okay, your joke doesn't have to be funny. Just take 1,000 yuan. Gao Ran interrupted. Huamin applauded for Qin Chu like a little girl. Then she raised her fist and said, "Hubby, you can do it." Qin Chu nodded and said, "There was an old farmer who raised a pig for many years. The pig was very strong, but he was reluctant to kill it. Then one day, people from the Animal Protection Association came to the village for an inspection and asked him, 'What does your pig eat every day?' He said wild vegetables. The people from the Animal Protection Association were unhappy. They said that the pig was given such poor food and that it was animal cruelty. They would be fined 500 yuan. The old farmer felt uncomfortable, but he obediently paid the fine. The next day, people from the charity organization came and asked him, "What do your pigs eat?" He said, "My pig eats fish and meat every day. In short, whatever we eat, the pig will eat." In the end, the people from the charity organization said that it was a waste of food. Many children in the mountainous areas could not even afford to eat steamed buns. They fined him 500 yuan. The old farmer felt aggrieved, but he still paid the fine obediently. On the third day, the leaders of the county came to inspect and asked him, "What do your pigs eat every day?" The old farmer hesitated for a long time before he carefully answered, "I give it 10 yuan every day. It can buy whatever it wants to eat." After Qin Chu finished, everyone laughed again. Huimin gave him a thumbs up. "This is the first time I've heard my husband tell a joke so formally. It's pretty funny." "Qin Chu, I didn't know you had such a funny side, huh?" Jiang Shaowei couldn't stop laughing. Wei Liao and Gao Ran also enjoyed it. Just then, everyone turned to look at Zhu Lingling. They saw that she was still expressionless and calm. "My Lingling didn't laugh again?" Gao Ran raised his eyebrows. Without another word, Qin Chu immediately took out 1,000 yuan and placed it in the bamboo basket. The three men all failed miserably. "Shaowei, you do one and break through Zhu Lingling's zombie face." Huimin looked at Jiang Shaowei and said, "Okay, leave the difficult task to me. I promise to tell the funniest joke. I'm telling you guys, I'm counting on this joke for the rest of my life." Jiang Shaowei rolled up her sleeves and stood up with great fanfare. Wei Liao carefully supported her, afraid that she would fall. "Honey, calm down, don't move too much. Take it easy. Listen up, all of you." Jiang Shaowei was full of confidence as soon as she started. She had a PhD in psychology, so she should be able to grasp everyone's thoughts, right? Everyone immediately placed their hopes on her. Chapter 1259. Jiang Shaowei coughed lightly and said seriously, "An American, a French and a Chinese man were walking in the desert. They were thirsty, hungry and tired. As they walked, they suddenly picked up a bottle. When they opened it, a person floated out. The person said, 'I'm the genie. I can fulfill 3 of your wishes.' The American man liked to take advantage of others. The first one said, 'My first wish is a lot of money. My second wish is still a lot of money. My third wish is to go back to America.' The genie nodded. 'That's easy.' Then he waved his hand and the American man went home with a lot of money. The French man also said, 'My first wish is beautiful women. My second wish is a lot of beautiful women. My last wish is to go back to France.' The genie waved his hand. 'That's easy. Go.' Then the French man went home with a lot of beautiful women. Finally, the Chinese man sat on the ground and said, 'My first wish is a bottle of erguotu.' The genie gave it to him. Then he said, 'My second wish is another bottle of erguotu.' The genie gave him another bottle. After he drank it, the genie asked, 'What's your third wish?' The Chinese man thought hard and finally said, 'I want 2 friends. Tell them to come back.' Instantly, the American and French men all returned to the desert. After Jiang Shaowei finished speaking, everyone laughed. Although they didn't laugh, they all thought it was quite interesting. However, Zhu Lingling didn't laugh. Jiang Shaowei continued, 'Don't worry, I'm not done yet.' Then the 3 of them continued walking in the desert. They picked up another bottle and another person came out. This person said, 'I'm the genie's younger brother. My power is not as high as my brother's, so I can only fulfill 2 of your wishes.' The American and Frenchmen thought about it. They were afraid that the Chinese man would ruin it, so they decided to let him speak first. The Chinese man thought hard and said, 'My first wish is a bottle of erguotu.' After he drank it, the genie asked, 'What's your second wish?' The Chinese man thought about it and said, 'I don't have any more wishes. You can go back first.' The French and Americans were dumbfounded. Before they could even say their wishes, the genie had left. Huimin hugged Qin Chu's neck and laughed uncontrollably. Wei Liao lowered his head and took out his phone to take a short video, laughing as he did so. Gao Ran was also laughing uncontrollably. He said, 'Dr. Jiang, this is good. I'm going to keep it for my subordinates when I go back to the station.' Everyone looked at Zhu Lingling again. She still didn't smile. Jiang Shaowei felt embarrassed and immediately said, 'Before I could finish, the 3 of them left and picked up another bottle. Another lamp god came out and said, 'I'm the disciple of the 2 lamp gods just now. My magic power is not as strong as the two masters, so I can only fulfill one wish for each of you. As soon as the genie finished speaking, the Americans and the French said in unison, "Send the Chinese back first." So the Chinese went home, the genie left, and the Americans and the French stayed in the desert forever. Jiang Shaowei finished her story. It was a joke that was split into 3 parts, which was quite interesting. However, Zhu Lingling didn't laugh. "Lingling, don't you think it's funny?" Gao Ran was puzzled. "I don't think so. Hurry up and pay up, Dr. Jiang." Zhu Lingling waved her hand. Jiang Shaowei took out 1,000 yuan and put it in a bamboo basket. "Zhu Lingling, I really admire you." In the end, everyone placed their hopes on Huamin. Huamin felt everyone's expectant gazes and pouted. "Don't look at me like that. I'm stressed." "We believe in you." Jiang Shaowei smiled. "I don't even believe in myself. I'm not easily amused." Huamin was a little embarrassed. "Go on, now it's only you and Zhu Lingling left. I have faith in you." Wei Liao felt that since Huamin was so good, she would definitely be able to defeat Zhu Lingling. Therefore Huamin nodded. Under everyone's expectant gazes, she stood up and began to tell her most classic joke. Chapter 1260. As the final guest, Zhu Lingling received a lot of attention. No matter what others said, she didn't laugh. He was amazing. Zhu Lingling looked around and said calmly, "There was once a king who had a pet that he loved very much. It was an elephant. Because the king doted on this elephant for many years, it became very arrogant. Many people didn't dare to provoke it. Finally, when it was time for the king's daughter, the princess, to get married, the king suddenly had an idea. He said that he would marry his daughter to whoever could make his elephant shake its head, nod its head, and sit down in the pool. Many unmarried young men came to try it out, but they all failed. One day, a young beggar came and asked the king if he could try. The king thought that he couldn't do it, so he nodded. The beggar came to the elephant and asked, "Do you know me?" The elephant shook its head. Then he asked, "I heard that you're quite awesome?" The elephant nodded. Finally, he took out a torch and lit up the elephant's tail. The elephant sat down in the pool in a hurry. Everyone was surprised, and the king was even more surprised. However, he wasn't willing to marry the princess to the beggar, so he deliberately made things difficult for the beggar and said, "This time doesn't count. If you can make my elephant nod its head, shake its head, and sit down in the pool, I'll admit defeat." The beggar didn't panic. He came to the elephant again and asked, "Bro, do you still recognize me?" The elephant nodded timidly. He continued to ask, "Are you still awesome?" The elephant took 2 steps back and shook its head. Finally, he took out a torch and continued, "I don't need to tell you what to do, right?" The elephant nodded and without another word, sat down in the pool. After Zhu Lingling finished, everyone laughed. Although it wasn't a roar of laughter, everyone had a happy expression on their faces. "You're all laughing. Does the money belong to me?" Zhu Lingling was happy. Yes, yes, yes. You're the best. Take it. We were tricked by you this time." Jiang Shaowei covered her mouth and laughed. Although everyone lost money, they were happy. How big of an honor would it take to have such a group of people tell jokes one by one? Especially Qin Chu. It was the first time that even Huamin had heard him tell a joke. Zhu Lingling happily pocketed the 5,000 yuan she had won. Huamin said with a smile, "Lingling is such a scammer. She must be doing this on purpose. Speaking of which, I thought of another story." "What story?" Everyone was puzzled. Huamin said with a smile, "A joke-telling competition was held in the forest. Every little animal took turns to tell a joke. If one of them didn't laugh, they had to throw the joke-telling animal into the river as punishment. The first one to go on stage was Little Monkey. Little Monkey told a joke and everyone laughed except for Little Pig. Helpless, he could only throw the little monkey into the river. The second person to tell a joke was the giraffe. Everyone laughed, but Piglet didn't laugh. Helpless, everyone threw the giraffe into the river as well. The third person to go on stage was Xiaoniu. Xiaoniu told a joke that was so cold. No one laughed, only Piglet laughed. It was very magical. Xiaoma asked Piglet, "Xiaoniu's joke is not funny, why did you laugh?" Can you guys guess what Little Pig said? Jiang Shaowei said, "Little Pig definitely said that I thought it was funny." Huamin shook his head. "Maybe Little Pig and Little Cow are good friends?" Wei Liao guessed. Huamin continued to shake his head. "What's going on? Why did Little Pig laugh? Tell us." Gao Ran asked curiously. Chapter 1261. Huamin replied in all seriousness. Piggy said that the monkey's joke was really funny. Everyone was speechless. Piggy was slow to react, so he only reacted to the first joke when Huamian told the third one. The monkey and the giraffe were wronged, even more wronged than Doi. Zhu Lingling immediately reacted. She jumped up and immediately grabbed Huamin by the back of his neck. "You little brat, how dare you mock me and call me Piggy? Do you think I can't tell? I'm going to strangle you to death. Ha, help! This crazy woman is strangling me." Huamin shrieked as he shrunk his neck back. The two of them didn't care about their image at all and fooled around as if no one else was around. It was as if they had returned to their school days. Huamin hadn't fooled around with Zhu Lingling in a long time. Qin Chu and Gao Ran watched as the two of them traveled back in time. It was as if they had traveled back in time to 7 years ago, and their moods subconsciously improved. Jiang Shaowei gently stroked her belly as she watched the joyous scene unfold before her. The gathering of the 6 couples was exceptionally heartwarming and happy. The meal lasted until 11 p.m. and everyone was still hungry for more. Jiang Shaowei originally suggested going to Seductive Fox, but everyone thought that she was pregnant, so they didn't want to go. Zhu Lingling was extremely generous and didn't take the 5,000 yuan for herself. Instead she paid the bill. Then the 3 couples went home. Zhu Lingling got into Gao Ran's Jaguar. They had been living together not long ago. Gao Ran's new apartment was newly renovated, so the smell was a little strong. Therefore the two of them temporarily stayed at Zhu Lingling's rented mansion. After they got into the car, Gao Ran helped Zhu Lingling put on her seatbelt. When Gao Ran leaned over to help her put on her seatbelt, Zhu Lingling suddenly hugged him gently. Her gentle action surprised Gao Ran slightly. "Lingling, what's wrong?" "Gao Ran, thank you for loving me." Gao Ran didn't think that this girl would suddenly become so serious, so he really didn't know what to say. Then Zhu Lingling continued, "Actually, I don't have much confidence in myself. I'm not as smart as Huamin, I'm not as mature as Jiang Shaowei, and I don't have the ability to read people's minds. Compared to them, I'm the most ordinary of us. I'm just a silly girl who likes to laugh and laugh. I thought, a person like me was destined to never be happy. I didn't expect you to give me what I wanted. Sometimes I feel like it's unreal. You're the son of a high-ranking official and you're so outstanding, while I'm just the daughter of an ordinary person. I'm silly, have a bad temper and have a sharp tongue, but you're still willing to love me. So I really have to thank you, my most handsome policeman." Zhu Lingling wrapped her arms around Gao Ran's neck and softly confessed to him. Gao Ran felt like his heart was about to melt. He really wasn't used to the woman who was usually so aggressive suddenly becoming so gentle. "Lingling, why are you acting so strange? Are you going to break up with me?" Gao Ran felt like this was a sign of breaking up. Usually when two people were about to break up, the woman would say things like, "You're really great, but we're not suitable for each other. Break up my ass. If you dare to break up with me, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth." Zhu Lingling revealed her true colors. Gao Ran looked at her and saw that she was still the original Zhu Lingling. Only then did he relax. "You scared me, I thought you were possessed by a ghost." Gao Ran laughed. "Possessed your ass, do you even understand what I'm saying?" Zhu Lingling looked up and pouted as she asked unhappily. "Then what are you talking about?" Gao Ran deliberately played dumb. Chapter 1262. "Damn it, what did I just say to you?" Zhu Lingling's face darkened. "Ha!" Gao Ran couldn't help but laugh out loud. "To be honest, I really feel inferior when compared to Mian and Wei Wei. Sometimes I think I'll never reach their heights, but I don't want to compare myself to them. They're my good friends and I'm happy for them if they're happy. Tonight I suggested we play a game. Actually, what they said was hilarious, so I tried my best not to laugh. I wanted to win against them and prove that I'm good at it. But I know, even if I'm dumb, I can tell that everyone was going easy on me. What I said wasn't funny, but everyone laughed. They were doing it for my sake. I'm glad that I have a group of friends like them. I love them, but I love you more." Gao Ran lovingly kissed Zhu Lingling's forehead. "Silly, you might not be the best, but in my eyes you're the best. There's only one Zhu Lingling in this world, and she's the Zhu Lingling of Gao Ran's family. She's the one who always bickers with me, but she's tough on the outside but soft on the inside. She's the one with the biggest boobs and the most beautiful flight attendant. I don't care what other people think or say, but in my heart, you're already priceless." This was the first time that Zhu Lingling heard Gao Ran being so serious. She felt like her heart was about to melt. She wrapped her arms around Gao Ran's neck and slowly leaned in. The two of them kissed tightly in the car, from the initial gentle entanglement to the final overwhelming kiss. On the other side, Qin Chu and Huamin were heading home to South Hill Manor. Huamin was in a good mood. He sat in the passenger seat and hummed along. "Honey, are you happy tonight?" "I'm super happy. When I was fooling around with Lingling, I felt like I was back in school." "I had the same feeling too." Qin Chu smiled. "Honey, I didn't know you could tell dirty jokes until today, Huamin. So, when we get home, take a shower and go to bed, can you tell me a couple more? I want to hear something deeper than the last one," Qin Chu said as he drove. Huamin, she didn't think too much about it. She just thought of it on the spur of the moment and said it casually. She didn't expect Mr. Qin to remember it so well. Why did it feel like she was labeled as a dirty person? That wasn't her, as true nature. Ahem. "Honey, you misunderstood me. I saw that joke in a magazine. I'm not good at it." Huamian explained guiltily. "Oh, that's okay. Which magazine did you read it from? I'll buy a few more for you. You can learn a few more and teach them to me." However, Qin Chu remained calm. Huamian was silent. Meanwhile, in the Jaguar, the two of them were kissing passionately. Everyone else was home, but they were still in the parking lot of the hotel. After some time, the two of them couldn't breathe. Gao Ran reluctantly let go of Lingling. Then he carefully tidied up her messy clothes. Gao Ran looked at Zhu Lingling with deep affection and gentleness in his eyes. He said something to her, inadvertently, but it was like a sudden clap of thunder that woke her up. Zhu Lingling thought he was going to say, "Lingling, let's go home." However, to her surprise, Gao Ran suddenly said in all seriousness, "Lingling, let's get married, shall we?" "What did you say?" Zhu Lingling felt her mind go blank. Chapter 1263. Let's get married, let's get married. Gao Ran looked at Zhu Lingling gently as he repeated his words. Gao Ran actually said something as formal as a proposal so easily. Although there were no flowers, no diamond rings, no candles, no fireworks, and no grand occasion, Zhu Lingling was so touched that tears streamed down her face. She didn't know why, but her tears kept flowing. "Why are you crying?" Gao Ran was terrified. He didn't know what a woman was thinking. He thought that his proposal scared Zhu Lingling to tears. Gao Ran quickly took back a tissue and carefully wiped away Zhu Lingling's tears. "Do you think a proposal is a small thing? You don't even have a ring?" Zhu Lingling said as she cried. She tried to cover up her tears because she was so touched. "Yes, yes, yes." Then, Gao Ran magically took out a red brocade box and opened it in front of Zhu Lingling. It was a very ordinary diamond ring, but the diamond was very big. "How much did it cost to buy such a big ring?" Zhu Lingling asked as she wiped away her tears. "Not much, not much. Less than 100,000. Gao Ran giggled. "Less than 100,000? You can't even earn a year's salary?" Zhu Lingling was angry and heartbroken. "If a year's salary isn't enough, I'll give it to you for 2 years. Anyway, I've been working for so long and haven't spent much of my salary. My parents pay for my meals, so it's definitely enough to buy a ring." "Are you stupid? Why did you buy such a big one?" Zhu Lingling always knew that although Gao Ran's family was rich, his salary wasn't high. It wasn't even as high as Zhu Lingling's salary. He couldn't compare to rich CEOs like Qin Chu and Wei Liao. So she was heartbroken that he spent so much money on a ring. I was thinking that if the diamond was bigger, the chances of you accepting my proposal would be higher." Gao Ran scratched the back of his head and smiled embarrassedly. "You're so stupid." Zhu Lingling held the ring and couldn't put it down. She put it on her middle finger and it fit perfectly. "You guessed the size right. You're so lucky," Zhu Lingling said stubbornly. "What do you mean guessed? I secretly measured it while you were sleeping," Gao Ran said innocently. Zhu Lingling's heart immediately overflowed with a warm feeling. It turned out that this seemingly heartless police officer, who only had work in his eyes, actually had such a meticulous side to him. "Where are the flowers?" "There aren't any flowers." Zhu Lingling tried to find fault with her. "Flowers? Yes, wait. Then Gao Ran lowered his head and took out a food bag from the back seat. Zhu Lingling opened it and was a little dumbfounded. "Flour pancakes? I think flowers are too wasteful and not suitable." Flour pancakes are also made with flowers and can be eaten. Killing two birds with one stone. Zhu Lingling. This was the first time in her life that she saw someone propose with flour pancakes instead of flowers. Then Zhu Lingling said faintly, "Since you can propose to me with fresh flour pancakes instead of fresh flowers, should I buy you some wife pancakes and pretend that I'm your wife? I don't have to go." Gao Ran. But the diamond is real. Zhu Lingling looked at Gao Ran's aggrieved face and immediately smiled through her tears. "So the gentle, beautiful, kind, generous and omnipotent Miss Zhu Lingling, will you marry me?" Gao Ran didn't know how to be romantic. He originally planned to propose after they got home and when they were in the throes of their XXO. But now he realized that the atmosphere after the two of them kissed was very good. So he proposed in the car. Now he was just waiting for Zhu Lingling to nod. Then he decided that the two of them would get their marriage certificate tomorrow and say goodbye to being single. Chapter 1264. Zhu Lingling was actually looking forward to this moment. Like Huamin, she missed 7 years with Gao Ran. They were supposed to be lovers in high school. But for various reasons they didn't end up together. After 7 years the two of them were still together. Naturally they cherished this relationship. Ever since they moved in together, their lives were no different from when they were married. When she was at home on vacation she would cook for Gao Ran and wash his clothes. When Gao Ran got off work the two of them would watch movies and eat supper like a normal couple. All they lacked was a marriage certificate. Zhu Lingling wasn't that pretentious. She had a carefree personality and had been hurt in love before. Therefore she didn't expect to get married so early. However, she couldn't deny that she loved Gao Ran very much. She had already decided that he would be her partner for life. However, this proposal came so suddenly that she wasn't mentally prepared. "Lingling, are you daydreaming?" Seeing that Zhu Lingling didn't answer for a long time and only lowered her head in silence, Gao Ran didn't know what to do. After a while, Zhu Lingling raised her head and returned the diamond ring to Gao Ran. "What do you mean?" Gao Ran's heart sank. "I really want to marry you, but now is not the time. I'm waiting for an opportunity." "What opportunity?" Gao Ran froze. "The opportunity for Mian to get pregnant," Zhu Lingling said word by word. Gao Ran didn't say anything, however he didn't expect this to be Zhu Lingling's answer. Then she said, "Mian treats me like a sister. When I was in trouble she would risk her life to protect me. I remember all of that. She hasn't had a baby since she got married, and it has always been a pain in her heart. However, I believe that she will have one. The moment she has a baby, we will get married and have children. It will be the best of both worlds, so I'm waiting for that opportunity." Then, Gao Ran paused for a moment. He raised his hand and rubbed the tip of his nose. "If they don't have a baby we won't get married?" "Of course not. What I mean is that we can wait. They will have a baby. Give me a year. If they don't we will still get married, okay? I just want to wait for her." Zhu Lingling enunciated each and every word clearly. Gao Ran had been a criminal police officer for a long time, so he was very good at reading people's eyes. Sometimes he could tell whether you were lying or just brushing him off with a single glance. He looked into Zhu Lingling's eyes and realized that there was nothing but sincerity in her. It seemed like she was really waiting for Qin's baby to be born, to announce their marriage, to add to the icing on the cake. "Sure, I'll listen to you." Gao Ran nodded. "Then, you're not mad at me, right?" Zhu Lingling asked anxiously. She was afraid that Gao Ran would be disappointed. "No, why would I be mad? You'll be mine sooner or later. You won't be able to run away." After speaking, before Zhu Lingling could say anything, he took out a diamond ring and forced it on Zhu Lingling's finger. "Put the ring on." "I already know that you're my wife," Gao Ran said domineeringly. Zhu Lingling's heart immediately swelled with happiness. A diamond ring worth more than 90,000 yuan cost Gao Ran almost 2 years' worth of his salary. She wore the ring on her finger and was filled with happiness. It wasn't because of how expensive the ring was. Instead, it was because this was Gao Ran's most sincere gift. On the other hand, ever since Huasiqian and Song Yisher got married, Huasiqian didn't go home to sleep. After work, he received a call from Mayor Song, asking him to pick up Song Yisher from his home. It turned out that Song Yisher went home the day after their wedding. She didn't want the media to report about it, so she didn't leave the house. Mayor Song thought that this was a good idea, so he called Huasiqian. After work, Huasiqian drove straight to the Song family's home. Song Yisha was just about to go downstairs when she saw Hua Xiqian. Her expression changed. What are you doing here? Chapter 1265. Father-in-law called me and asked me to come pick you up. I'm not going back, you should leave. Song Yisha didn't hate Hua Xiqian anymore. Instead, she was afraid of him. On their wedding night, she was covered in injuries from the beating of a belt. She didn't even dare to tell her parents, so she could only swallow her anger. She finally realized that Hua Xiqian was a true psycho, and it was unwise to go against him. Therefore, she would rather hide from him and stay at the Song mansion. I don't care, you can do whatever you want. Hua Xiqian didn't care about Song Yisha. He married her for a reason. Now that he had achieved his goal, he didn't care if she went home or not. After speaking, Hua Xiqian turned around to leave. However, he bumped into Mayor Song, who had just opened the door. Father-in-law? Hua Xiqian smiled. Where are you going? Mayor Song asked with a dark expression. Sure said she's not going back, so she told me to leave first. Nonsense. If you say you're not going back, then you're not going back. Both of you come here, I have something to say. After speaking, Mayor Song walked in with a dark expression and sat down on the sofa in the living room. Song Yisha reluctantly walked down the stairs in a black lace dress. Hua Xiqian was smiling the entire time. He sat down next to Mayor Song without a trace of awkwardness. It was as if he didn't care about his father-in-law at all. I don't care why you two got married, but you're already husband and wife. It doesn't matter if you're in a good relationship or not. The most important thing is that you don't let people talk about you. Nowadays the media can expose anything. Sure, you can't stay at home all the time, so you should go home first. I'm not going home. Shut up, it's not up to you. Do you expect me to clean up after you too? Mayor Song's words were quite harsh. Song Yisha immediately fell silent. Hua Xiqian, on the other hand, was smiling the entire time. It was hard to tell what he was thinking. Even if you want to get a divorce, it'll have to wait 3 months. After the provincial election, Mayor Song's intention was obvious. He didn't want any negative news about him to affect his future. Got it, Dad? Song Yisha felt that it was only 3 months and it shouldn't be too difficult, so she stopped arguing with her father. I'm fine with that. Hua Xiqian shrugged. Also, the two of you have to be lovey-dovey in public. You have to pretend to be lovey-dovey. You can't let people catch you red-handed. Song Yisha was angry, but he still nodded. I got it, Dad. I'll listen to you, father-in-law. Hua Xiqian nodded. Hey, you can leave now. Or you can leave after dinner. Mayor Song stood up and left. Song Yisha glared at Hua Xiqian. You'd better not touch me for the next 3 months. Don't worry, even if you beg me, I won't. Hua Xiqian sneered. Let him touch her? Are you kidding me? Even a prostitute from a nightclub would be better than Song Yisha. This woman really thought too highly of herself. The two of them weren't in the mood to stay for dinner, so they left together. Then they each drove back to Hua Xiqian's mansion. After they got home, Hua Xiqian changed his clothes and went out again. Song Yisha was already used to this, so she didn't ask where he was going. She took a shower and went to bed. After making sure that Hua Xiqian was really gone, Song Yisha picked up her phone and dialed a number. Come out tomorrow, let's meet. Our plan can't be stopped, we have to continue. Hua Xiqian was driving with his earphones on. After eavesdropping, he took off his earphones and threw them aside. Bitch, you can't even stop for a second. Sooner or later you'll get yourself killed. The next morning it was the weekend. Hua Min was resting, while Qin Chu was picked up by the company's chauffeur in a Bentley. He left his beloved Maybach with Hua Min. Hua Min drove the Maybach straight to Sky Blessing Court to visit her mother. He wanted to see if Yang Xiuping was still there. Did she return the item? Chapter 1266. At Sky Blessing Court. When Hua Min arrived, his mother had just finished eating and was cleaning the house. Mom, Mian, you're back? Yeah, Mom. Where's Xiuping? Hua Min looked around and asked tentatively. Oh, Xiuping left. Yang Merong said as she mopped the floor. Oh, he left? Why did she leave? Your kid said she found a job and got paid 5,000 yuan a month. I thought it was pretty good, so I let her go. Otherwise, it's meaningless to stay here, it's just like going to jail. Oh? Hua Min nodded and didn't say anything else. Oh right, I found the jewelry, Mian. You found it? Where did you find it? Huamin knew that Yang Xiaoping was afraid of going to jail and wouldn't dare to not get the jewelry back. The jewelry wasn't worth much, but it was a matter of character. Stealing was a shameful thing. You can't do something wrong because you're poor or jealous. Those were all dirty excuses. Yang Merong put down the mop in her hand and straightened up. Xiaoping found it when she was helping me pack up some old clothes. It's weird I couldn't find it no matter how hard I searched, but now I have it. Did you find it? Is there anything missing? Huamin asked worriedly. No, there's nothing missing. That's good. What's wrong? Yang Merong felt like her daughter was acting weird today. Nothing. Mian, is there still no news from your belly? Yang Merong remembered. Oh. Huamin shook his head. It's okay, you're still young. Take care of your body, you'll definitely get pregnant. Yang Merong didn't want her daughter to be sad, so she comforted her. I know, Mom. I'm fine, you don't have to worry about me. Then Huamin changed into his old clothes and helped his mother clean the house. At noon, Huamin had a simple meal with his mother and left. After Huamin came out, he drove directly to Xiaowan's place. Shuai Shuai had been discharged from the hospital for a long time, and Xiaowan had also gone to work. The mother and son were doing well. Sometimes, Xiaowan would give Huamin some delicious food that she made herself, including pickled vegetables and braised eggs. He would also make some insoles, sock covers and the like by hand. In short, Xiaowan was very grateful for Huamin's kindness to her and her son. It was the weekend. When Huamin arrived, Xiaowan and Shuai Shuai were having lunch. He was surprised to see Huamin. Sister Huamin. Shuai Shuai put down his chopsticks and ran over happily. Huamin patted his head. You've grown taller again, Shuai Shuai. How are your studies? Pretty good. I came in 15th place on the monthly exam, which is 5 places better than last time. Last time I was 20th and there were 45 students in my class. Before Huamin could ask, Shuai Shuai blurted out everything. That's great. Good luck. Huamin generously praised the child. Dr. Hui, you're just in time. Come sit down and eat with us. Xiaowan stood up and warmly greeted Huamin. It's okay, Sister Xia. I already ate at my mother's place. I came today because I wanted to see you and Shuai Shuai. Thanks to you, my son and I are doing very well now. I didn't even dare to dream that there would be such a day. Xiaowan was very satisfied when she talked about the happy life she had today. What about Enai Yang? Have you been in touch with him? When Xiaowan heard Enai Yang's name, she shook her head with a complicated expression. That's why I'm here. I don't think it should be delayed any longer. I want to resolve the conflict between you and your son. Huh? How? Will Enai Yang forgive me? Xiaowan was surprised. Chapter 1267. That's my business, don't worry about it. Anyways, just listen to me. Then, how can I thank you, Dr. Hua, for helping us so much? Xiaowan wanted to kneel down and kowtow to Huamin 100 times because Huamin had done so much for her. It's okay, Enai Yang is like my little brother. I want to see him reunite with his mother and brother. Don't feel too pressured. Huamin stayed at the Xia mansion for a while and bought Shuai Shuai a lot of school supplies before leaving for GK. GK was shooting a promotional video for celebrities this weekend. Therefore, most of the celebrities had to come back to the company. Huamin thought that she would definitely see Enai Yang here. However, to her surprise, she bumped into 2 other people in the lobby downstairs. Emo Shuai and Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi was an artist who lived in Jing City, but he had been showing up in the city a lot lately. Everyone said that he and Emo Shuai were good friends. Now that she thought about it, it really was a young lady. Hello, a young lady. Good afternoon, a young lady. Everyone at GK knew who Huamin was. Even though she was dressed casually in a short beige jacket, pencil pants and mid-height boots, she looked as fresh and cute as a teenage girl. However, none of the employees dared to offend the woman that their boss loved the most. A young lady, what a coincidence, why are you here? Emo Schwecker smiled when she saw Huamin. It was as if the abortion incident never happened. Huamin nodded. I'm here to see Enai Yang. A young lady seems to be very close to Enai Yang. Jiang Yi said with jealousy. Huamin ignored Jiang Ye's words because she didn't know this person at all. After that, Huamin swiped his card and used the boss' personal elevator to go upstairs. Jiang Yi looked at Huamin's back and shook his head. This woman is really arrogant. She actually ignored me. Emo Schweiker chuckled. If you knew that she even dared to scold Lord Su, you wouldn't feel so wronged. Actually, I'm very curious. I really want to know what kind of woman she is. Jiang Yi sneered. So, are you planning to make our boss your enemy? Mo Schwecker sneered. Jiang Yi smiled but didn't say anything. Huamin would never give face to people he wasn't familiar with, no matter who they were. Jiang Yi felt that his status was very high, so he felt wronged because he was rejected. If Lord Su knew about this, wouldn't he feel even more wronged? If Huamin was someone who could be won over by burning money, why would Siyu be in so much pain right now? After Huamin arrived at GK for the first time, she didn't go straight to the president's office. Instead, she went to the artist department. As expected, Yang was putting on makeup. A young lady, you're here. A few executives from the marketing department all greeted Huamin. Huamin nodded and went straight to Yang. Sister Huamin, why are you here? Yang looked up. I'm here to see you. What is it? Yang smiled. Ever since a lot of things happened between them, Yang had always treated Huamin like his own sister. Ever since Jixin left the country, Huamin had also treated Yang like her own little brother. Therefore, they didn't hide anything from each other. Are you free tonight? I'll treat you to dinner. You're treating me to dinner? Yang froze. Huamin smiled and nodded. Sister Huamin, are you up to something? One who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. You taught me that. Yang smiled. Yeah, I'm up to something. Do you have the guts to go? Of course, my sister is treating, I have to go. Not only that, but I'm also going to make you pay. Yang was in a great mood. Inside, you boss, a young lady is here. Where is she? Qin Chu looked up with a file in his hand. She went straight to film and television. Assistant Yang pointed in another direction. Qin Chu was speechless. How could he not know that his wife was here? So I'm conflicted. Should I call her here for you? Or should you call her yourself? Assistant Yang asked with a trembling voice. He felt like something was off between the president and a young lady today. Chapter 1268. Qin Chu's face darkened. Did he have to call her? She was already at HQ, how could she not come to his office? If she didn't come then tonight. He would have an excuse to tie her hands with a belt again. Would Huamin give him that chance? The answer was no. After Huamin and Yang agreed to have dinner together, without another word, they went straight to the president's office. At that time, Jiang Yi, Mo Shuer, Annie Liang, and a few other celebrities were talking to Qin Chu about a commercial performance during Chinese New Year. Huamin didn't even knock and pushed the door open. She ignored everyone and threw herself at Qin Chu. Like a little bird, she opened her arms and threw herself into Mr. Qin's arms. She gave Mr. Qin a surprise bear hug. Honey, I'm here. She then realized that there might be other people in the office. She looked up and saw Jiang Yi, Mo Shuer, and Annie Liang looking at her with dumbfounded expressions. Perhaps they didn't expect a young lady who usually looked so dignified to have such a funny side. You're in a meeting? I'll go out first, you guys talk. Realizing that she had interrupted Mr. Qin's work, Huamin immediately stood up and tried to run away. However, Mr. Qin held her tightly in his arms and wouldn't let her go. Sit down, it's fine. Mr. Qin only said those 4 simple words. But was it really okay? The problem was that Huamin was sitting on Qin Chu's lap. Just then Jiang Yi, who was sitting on the sofa, asked sourly, "Is this how the president usually does his work?" It's my first time seeing this, Annie Liang replied. Mo Schweger smiled. She thought that she should let Huasiqian see this scene. He wanted to see how loving Huamin and Qin Chu were. Then his heart would bleed. Mo Schweger used to think that she was the most pitiful person in the world. However, she soon realized that she was nothing compared to Huasiqian. Huasiqian didn't love her, but he was willing to sleep with her. On the other hand, Huasiqian liked Huamin, but Huamin never knew about his feelings for her all these years. His love was not as obvious as Su Yu's. Therefore, Mo Schweger felt that Huasiqian was the most pitiful person in the world. My wife is a little naughty. Don't mind her. Let's continue with the meeting. Qin Chu hugged Huamin as if no one was around. Then he continued to talk to the superstars about the end of the year. His spirit of doting on his wife was unparalleled. 15 minutes later, the meeting ended and the few of them left the office. Huamin heaved a sigh of relief and hugged Qin Chu's neck coquettishly. Hubby, is it really okay for us to show off our love like this? Who said we were showing off? Isn't this our daily routine? Chin Chu asked in all seriousness. Pa, fine. You win. Huamin could never compare to Chin Chu's black-bellied ways. She was once worried that her baby would inherit this fine tradition of his. In the future he would be invincible with his black-bellied ways. I heard that when you came to the company, you went to the film and television department first? Ha, you saw me on the surveillance cameras. Huamin laughed. Chin Chu, why would I need surveillance cameras? There are so many pairs of eyes watching you when you walk into the company. What were you doing there? I was looking for Young. Why were you looking for him? Mr. Chin was slightly jealous. To have dinner with him. I'm going to treat him to dinner tonight. Okay, I'm coming too, Mr. Chin announced domineeringly. Huamin, hubby, calm down. Listen to me first. I wanted to have dinner with Young because I have something to discuss with him. What is it? It's about the reconciliation between him and his mother. I told you about it before. So I can't go with you? You have to go alone? Chin Chu looked at Huamin and asked. Yeah, not only can you not go but you also have to approve something for me. Otherwise I'm afraid I can't handle it. What is it? Chin Chu looked confused, but seeing how his wife was trying to curry favor with him, it probably wasn't anything good. As expected, Huamin slowly said, it's actually not a big deal. I just want your approval to have a drink with Young. Drink? Wine? Chin Chu repeated these two words with great emphasis. Chapter 1269. I want a drink. Huamin felt a little guilty. Are you sure? Chin Chu looked into her eyes and asked again in all seriousness. Huamin knew that her husband was going to reject her request, so she decided to play her trump card. She wrapped her arms around Chin Chu's neck and began to act coquettishly. Honey, you won't reject me, right? It's just a small request. A small request? You think drinking is a small request? Chin Chu raised his eyebrows. But I'm not just drinking for no reason. I want to help Young. You don't have to drink to help him, do you? Why not? Last time when I helped him get over the knot in his heart I asked him to drink. This is called fighting poison with poison. Young is an introvert. If he doesn't get drunk he won't be able to open his heart. His relationship with his mother is like fire and water. I have to help them reconcile. This is the most important thing I can do for him. Chin Chu lowered his head and didn't say anything. Huamin didn't know what he was thinking. Mr. Chin? My dear husband, please? Huamin continued to poison Huamin. She wrapped her arms around Chin Chu's neck and her tone was unprecedentedly gentle. In the end, Chin Chu was defeated by Huamin's sugar-coated bullets. I really don't know what to do with you. He sighed slightly. You said yes, honey. Go ahead, don't drink too much, take care of yourself. Chin Chu finally agreed to Huamin's rude request. Thank you, honey. Huamin was overjoyed. He kissed Chin Chu on the cheek. Then she turned around and left his embrace. You're leaving just like that? Chin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Wasn't his wife too realistic? Did she just turn around and leave after using him? Huamin was slightly startled. What else? Do you have to be so obvious about burning the bridge after crossing it? Chin Chu asked with a smile. I didn't want to disturb your work. Call me after dinner. I'll pick you up. Don't drink and drive, Chin Chu reminded her again. Huamin stretched out his hand and made an okay gesture, then left happily. He watched as a young lady left in a hurry. Little Yang knew that a young lady must have taken down the boss again. Needless to say, every time they faced off against each other, the boss never won. A young lady, you're leaving already? Little Yang smiled and flattered. All right, let's go. Bye-bye. After Huamin left, he drove straight back to South Hill Manor and took out a box of red wine from the wine cellar. Then he would drive around the city to look for a suitable restaurant. After walking around for a while, he ended up at his 13 stores, which was also the busiest pedestrian street. One of them had been refurbished into a small Southeast Asian restaurant that specialized in Southeast Asian cuisine. Huamin hadn't eaten there before, so he was quite interested. After he parked his car, he walked in. Welcome, how many people are there? Do you have a private room? We do, upstairs, please follow me. The waiter led Huamin upstairs. Huamin looked around and was very satisfied with the environment. After he finished his work at GK, and I Yong went to the address that Huamin sent him on WeChat. The two of them went to an elegant private room upstairs and ordered a few dishes. Then Huamin took out a bottle of red wine and opened it. Sister Huamin, are we drinking again? And I Yong couldn't hold his liquor, so he was confused when he saw red wine. He vaguely remembered that time at the hospital. The two of them were dead drunk. He even cried his eyes out. Therefore he still had lingering fears. I'm going to celebrate in advance for you. Your New Year's movie is going to be released soon. I wish you all the best at the box office. Huamin found an excuse and then poured Ni Yong and herself. Sister Huamin, you're secretly drinking again. Does the boss know? Ni Yong asked carefully. Chapter 1270. Huamin was speechless. Little brat, why are you so nosy? Huamin looked at Ni Yong with a smile. It's not that I'm nosy, it's just that the president is too scary when he's angry. I'm quite scared of President Qin. This was the truth. All the artists at GK weren't afraid of Qin Chu. Even the big shots, including Mo Shuego, were very cautious when they saw Qin Chu. This was because they all knew that the president was very strict with his employees and would never joke around with them. If you did a good job, okay, he would reward you with tons of yuan luxury cars and mansions. If you didn't do a good job, okay, he would really do something to you. Who didn't know that this young boss could be said to be swift and decisive in doing things? His methods were also particularly powerful. Even if Ni Yong had a good relationship with Huamin, he wouldn't willfully use his connections. After all, he knew his president's temper. Don't worry, my husband is very gentle. Huamin continued to snicker. Ni Yong was speechless. Gentle? The word gentle has nothing to do with our president. Plus, even if he's gentle, he's only with you, so let's be careful. Don't worry, my husband already approved. Open your heart and celebrate with me. Here, cheers. Huamin raised her wine glass and livened up the atmosphere. Ni Yong wasn't prepared for this and began to drink with Huamin. Soon the two of them finished 3 bottles of red wine. Red wine was actually very strong. It didn't feel good when they were drinking it, but after a while they would feel dizzy. Ni Yang's cheeks were a little red. He looked at Huamin's face across from him and felt his vision blur. Sister Huamin, I can't drink anymore. If I drink anymore, I'll be dead. This wine is too strong. Ni Yong shook his head and admitted defeat. Huamin felt that it was not enough. He asked the waiter to bring a lot of ice cubes and poured it directly into the red wine. In this way the taste improved and it didn't taste bad anymore. By the time the 4th bottle was finished, Ni Yong had obviously drunk enough and took the initiative to sing his new song to Huamin. After snorting for a while, little Yong asked excitedly, Sis, how was it? How was it? Does it sound good? It's not bad. It'll definitely be a hit. The album will sell well. Come, let's do another one to celebrate the popularity of your new song. Huamin raised his glass again. At this time Ni Yong did not know how to refuse. He was quite cooperative and raised his glass as well. Come on, Sister Huamin. Cheers. Sure enough, this brat fell for it so easily. Huamin took the opportunity to take out her phone. She lowered her head and sent a text to Xiaowan. The text read, Big Sister Xia, come over now. I'm at 3rd Ring Pedestrian Street, 2nd floor of Nanyang Restaurant, room 208. I'm with Ni Yong. I plan to arrange for you guys to meet up later. After Xiaowan received the text, she was very excited. She struggled for a long time before replying to Huamin. Is he really willing to meet me? Come on, trust me. Huamin only replied 5 words. She believed that Xiaowan would come. Ni Yong was in high spirits and kept urging her. Sis, stop playing with your phone. Come on, let's drink. There's no rush. Come on, let's take a picture first. Huamin took out her selfie stick and foolishly gave Ni Yong a thumbs up. After taking the picture, Huamin did a simple edit and posted it on her WeChat Moments. Eating with a superstar Eulalia. Does anyone want his autograph? In the picture, Ni Yong was pouting with the naughtiness of a young girl. Ni Yong, on the other hand, stuck out his tongue and wore his hat askew, trying to look cool. As soon as the picture of the two was posted, it immediately caused a stir. Then all of her WeChat Moments were filled with envy and jealousy. Chapter 1271. Jixin, sis, when I get back to China, introduce me to Ni Yong. I really like his songs. Zhu Lingling, wow, he's so handsome, I want to meet him. Gao Ran replied to Zhu Lingling. Are you looking for a beating? Zhu Lingling? Jiang Shaowei. This restaurant has a nice ambience. Please give me the address. Huamin replied to Jiang Shaowei. You're such a glutton. Assistant Chen Jie. Chief, is that Ni Yang next to you? He's so handsome in real life, he's even more photogenic than on TV. Huasiqian. Little sister Mian, your lip gloss is so pretty today. After reading Huasiqian's comment, Huamin took out a mirror and looked at his lips in frustration. He used dark blue's number 5 lipstick every day, but why was Huasiqian's style so different from others? Just as Huamin was wondering, another comment appeared below. Qin Chu, isn't this photo a little too close? Huamin replied to Qin Chu. Ni Yang replied to Qin Chu. Boss, I'll be more careful next time. Please let me off the hook. After Ni Yang replied, he immediately looked up at Huamin. Sis, do you think the president will hate me for this and give me a hard time? Of course not. My husband isn't that petty, okay? Huamin immediately defended Qin Chu. You're not a kid anymore, do you have a girl you like? I think it's time for you to fall in love. I don't want to, my fans would go crazy. Ni Yang smiled. Fans aren't that crazy anymore, they'll support their idols if they fall in love, okay? Anyways, if there's someone you like, let me know and I'll ask the company to do it for you. Yes. Ni Yang nodded. Seeing that the atmosphere was about right, Huamian suddenly changed the topic. Little brother, what do you think is the most important thing in a person's life? Why do you ask such a profound question? Ni Yang raised his head in surprise. It's just a casual chat. I want to ask for your opinion. I think, to me, the most important thing in life is to have a healthy body. Money, status, and power are just worldly possessions. Only when I'm healthy can I enjoy everything. Ever since that illness, Ni Yang seemed to have thought things through a lot. Huamin was very satisfied with his answer and nodded. You're right, no matter how successful you are or how much money you have, you still have to be alive to spend it. The stupidest thing a person can do in life is to chase after unlimited wealth with their limited life and become a slave to money. Think about it, even if you become the richest man in the world, you won't live to be 200 years old. Life is short, so having a healthy body is the most important thing. Speaking of which, your surgery was so successful, you really have to thank the person who provided you with the liver. Yeah, by the way, do you have that person's contact information? I was going to give him a sum of money as a thank you. After all, he helped me. Huamian smiled. Listen to me first. Actually, liver donation is quite risky. Everyone's liver is only so big and no one wants to donate such an important organ to someone unrelated to them. Don't you think it's strange that you were able to get a liver in such a short time, and it's such a good match? It's strange, I think I'm just too lucky. You're sure you're very lucky because there's someone behind you who's willing to donate his liver to you. So who is he? Can you let me meet him? I really want to thank him. Ni Yang was a little moved. Do you really want to meet him? Huamin confirmed again. Yes. Ni Yang nodded heavily. Drink up and I'll let you meet him right now. Right now? Ni Yang was a little surprised. Huamin nodded. Without another word, Ni Yang picked up the wine glass in front of him and downed it in one gulp. Then Huamin got up, walked over and yanked open the wooden door. Xiaowan was standing at the door and she looked at Ni Yang with a complicated expression. At this moment Ni Yang was quite shocked. He stared blankly at the woman at the door, unable to say a word. He was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 1272. Why is she here? After a while Ni Yang finally came back to his senses and asked in a daze. She is the person who donated her liver to you. Huamin finally decided to tell him the truth. Otherwise, there would be no reason for Ni Yang to forgive a woman he once hated to the core. She? Ni Yang obviously didn't believe it. It's her. Otherwise, do you think a stranger's liver would be so easily absorbed and not rejected? Only those who are close to each other, those who are related by blood, would do this. At this moment Xiaowan's face was covered in tears. My child. I'm so sorry, Xiaowan said as she cried. She wasn't a particularly selfish woman. She just couldn't accept the fact that she was raped by Ni Yang's biological father back then. Therefore she took her anger out on Ni Yang and ignored him all these years. However, Ni Yang was her child after all. He was a piece of flesh that fell from her body. Even a vicious tiger wouldn't eat its cubs. No matter how heartless she was, she wouldn't ignore Ni Yang's life and death. After talking to Huamin for so long, she suddenly felt like she wasn't human. Because of the hatred between the adults, she let the child suffer. At the time, she didn't know that donating her liver wasn't life-threatening. She thought that after donating her liver she wouldn't be able to live. She donated her liver with the intention of dying, only wanting to atone for her sins. In her opinion, Shui Shui had already recovered, so she had nothing to worry about. For this son of hers, even if she had to sacrifice her life, it was worth it. Impossible, that's impossible. And Ai Yang was a little emotional. He kept shaking his head and saying that it was impossible. Huamin saw that it was about time, so she slowly said, "Actually, the story goes like this. A woman was born with a hard life. She had someone she loved, but because she was raped by another man, she began her tragic life. Because of the fear of gossip, she married the man who raped her and gave birth to an innocent child. She was unhappy and she was often beaten and scolded by drunk men. In the end, she couldn't bear such a hellish life, so she left. She neglected this innocent child, and the child hated his mother very much. He always thought that his mother's indifference to him was the reason for all these years of misfortune. Later, the child became successful, and the woman lived a lonely life with her son. When she found out that her successful son was seriously ill and needed a liver transplant, she didn't hesitate to donate her liver, hoping that he would forgive her. In this tragic story, the child was innocent and the woman was pitiful. She could only blame fate for playing tricks on people. Fortunately, it's all in the past now. They're living a good life now, but in their hearts they can't forget each other. Whether it's love or hate, it's destined to be a lifelong bond because they're mother and son and blood is thicker than water. Stop talking, Sister Huamin, stop talking. And Ai Yang hugged his head and squatted down. He seemed to have suffered a huge blow. He couldn't accept the truth for a moment. Xia Wan also cried and couldn't speak. She no longer hoped that Ai Yang would forgive her. She only hoped that the child would live a better life. Oh, I have to say this. Ai Yang, everyone makes mistakes, but it's best if you can learn from your mistakes. Xia Wan already knows that she's wrong, and she's already atoning for it with her actions. She thought that she would die if she donated her liver, but after hesitating for a long time she still donated it. It's obvious that in her heart you're more important than her life. In this world, nothing is more precious than life because everyone only has one life. The only people who can sacrifice their lives for you are the ones you love the most. This is an indisputable fact. Huamin looked at Ai Yang and said with a bit of heartache. Chapter 1273. Huamin knew that Ai Yang might not be able to handle so much at once. But she was still willing to try and see if she could make a breakthrough. Would this mother and son be able to reconcile? It all depended on today's incident. So she had to try her best. No, she doesn't love me at all. She doesn't care if I live or die. She only has eyes for her youngest son. She only loves him. Ai Yang hugged his head and cried bitterly. He didn't want to admit this fact. Huamin walked step by step to Ai Yang's side, then slowly squatted down. He raised his head and gently patted him on the back. As if he was comforting a child, he said, "Shui Shui is just an innocent child. Like you, he was born into this world without knowing why. He didn't have a choice and he just wanted to live a good life. Like you, he didn't have a father and he only had a mother who depended on him. He's also the only person in this world who is related to you by blood other than your mother. I hope you can think about it from a different perspective." Ai Yang didn't say anything and he continued to cry. Huamin continued, "I believe you've heard this saying before. A tree wants to be quiet but the wind won't stop. A son wants to be filial but his parents are gone. I don't want you to realize that your family is gone by the time you wake up. Then even if you regret it, there's no point in trying to change it. Actually, our lives are very short in this world. Whether you love or hate your family, you won't be able to see them again in your next life. As mother and son, you only have this life but there's no next life. So, I hope you can let go of your previous obsession. Don't dwell on the past. Start over, give yourself a chance to live and give your family a chance to be close to you." When a person was drunk, all their emotions were magnified. Ai Yang had drunk so much and his emotions were already complicated. After hearing what Huamin said, he became even more agitated. However, he listened to Huamin's words. Especially when he said that the tree wants to be quiet, but the wind won't stop. A son wants to be filial but his parents are gone. Imagine what would happen if he figured this out many years later. But by then his mother would probably be gone. When Yang thought of this, some things in his heart suddenly changed. He slowly stood up and looked at Xiaowan again. Why are you helping me? Because you're my child. Xiaowan was an honest person and didn't know how to say nice things. It was just a simple sentence, but it made Yang's heart turn upside down. Then why didn't you come looking for me all these years? When you're not doing well, I'm not doing well either. When you're doing well, I'm still not doing well. How can I still have the face to look for you? If it weren't for Shuai Shuai's kidney disease being so serious and his life being in danger, I wouldn't have asked you for money that time. I'm sorry, I don't deserve to be your mother. After Xiaowan finished speaking, she burst into tears. Thinking back to the past few years, she and Shuai Shuai had not had it easy, but Yang had it even harder. In this cruel world, no one had an easy life. Yang looked at her with tears streaming down his cheeks. Finally, he knelt down on both knees and shouted at Xiaowan, "Mom." Xiaowan's body trembled. Then she couldn't help but rush over. She also knelt on the ground and hugged Yang's head as she cried, "Child, it's been hard on you all these years." Huamin was a person who was easily moved to tears. Under normal circumstances he wouldn't cry. However, she was deeply affected by this scene. Then tears streamed down her cheeks. Looking at Yang and Xiaowan, the mother and son who had been together for so many years, she was truly happy for them. When she left Nanyang Tavern, she forgot to call Qin Chu. When she walked out and the cold wind blew, she suddenly remembered. She picked up her phone and was about to call. Suddenly she saw a Rolls-Royce parked in front of her. The car window slowly rolled down. Huasiqian looked at Huamin and smiled. "Where are you going? I can give you a ride." "No need," Huamin refused. "Don't you want to see the old man? He's dying." Huasiqian's words surprised Huamin. Chapter 1274. Huamin then got into the car without a word. Huamin hadn't seen Hu Zhenghai in a long time. She didn't help him during the Hu Corporation's civil war, so Hu Zhenghai quickly lost. In the end, he was imprisoned by Huasiqian, so his life must have been very bleak. However, Huamin didn't think that he would die so soon. In the car, the two of them remained silent. Huamin didn't like Huasiqian, so she didn't sit in the front passenger seat. Instead, she sat in the back. "Did you drink?" Huasiqian asked with a smile. "How did you know?" "It smells really strong." Huasiqian's car reeked of alcohol, but Huamin didn't smell it. Huamin didn't say anything. "Qin Chu asked you to drink in the middle of the night? And with another man? How do you know it was another man?" Huamin found it strange that Huasiqian knew everything and was as good as a half-immortal. "I saw Yang's sports car at the entrance of the restaurant you just came out of." Huamin. Fine, she had to admit that Huasiqian was terrifyingly meticulous. "So Qin Chu isn't jealous? Yang is like a little brother to me, why would Qin Chu be jealous?" Huamin rolled her eyes at him. Huasiqian smiled but didn't say anything. "How are you doing after your wedding? Are you happy? How's Song Yisher?" Huamin suddenly asked nosily. "She's doing great." "Really?" Huamin obviously didn't believe him. With a newlywed wife like Song Yisher, would he really have a good life? "Of course. I said that I'm doing well. As for how she feels, I've never asked her." Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. Song Yisher looked at him as if he was a ghost. She wished she could run away. Huasiqian was not someone who would spoil a woman. He would hit a woman anytime and anywhere. And he could pull out his belt at any time. Song Yisher would never forget that feeling for the rest of her life. About 20 minutes after the car had left, the car stopped at a remote villa. Huamin looked around. This should be the northeastern part of the city, an area that the government had yet to develop. The Hu family had a piece of land here that had never been used. Later on, Hu Zhenghai built a mansion for himself. It was supposed to be used to raise his mistress, but now it was used to imprison him. It was ironic. What's wrong with him? Huamin asked worriedly as they walked to the door. His body wasn't good to begin with, and he didn't control himself. He thought about having a son all day long and overindulged himself. There was nothing he could do. Huamin was speechless. "Don't look at me like that, I didn't do anything to him. No matter how bad he is, he's still my adoptive father. I'm not cold-blooded enough to do anything to him." Huasiqian explained as if he was trying to distance himself from the blame. Huamin didn't say anything and followed him inside. "Sir, you're here?" An old woman in her 50s opened the door. She was dressed plainly and her hair was a little white. Huasiqian nodded and led Huamin inside. How's he doing today? Huasiqian asked casually. Master, he isn't doing well. He only ate a little porridge the entire day and then he threw it all up. Dr. Wang already came over to inject him within 4 drip. Okay, I got it. Then Huasiqian led Huamin to the 2nd floor. Inside the master bedroom, Hu Jinghai was lying on a large ivory bed, looking very haggard. He was even on an 4 drip. After not seeing him for more than a month, Huamin didn't expect him to become like this. He was so skinny that his cheeks were sunken in. You should go see him. I don't think he wants to see me, so I won't go over. Huasiqian stood at the door. Huamin felt a little uncomfortable, so she slowly walked towards Hu Jinghai. Mr. Wu. She thought for a moment and decided that this was probably the most appropriate way to address him. Hu Jinghai slowly opened his eyes and looked at Huamin. You're here? Chapter 1275. Huamin nodded. Sit down. Hu Jinghai struggled to speak and his hands trembled. Huamin sat down quietly on the chair in front of his bed. Are you okay? Huamin wasn't lying. As a doctor, she couldn't bear to see a stranger so sick. That's it. You saw it yourself. I don't think I can hold on much longer. Don't say that. Take care of yourself. You're always so distant with me. The truth is, you hate me, don't you? Because of what I did to you and your mother. No, I don't hate you. I don't have the right to hate you. Hu Jinghai was a little confused by Huamin's words. He didn't know why she said that. Huamin slowly leaned over and whispered into his ear, Mr. Hua, the truth is, I wanted to tell you a long time ago but I never had the right opportunity. Since I'm here today I'll tell you. Did you know? I didn't take a single cent of the Hua Corporation's shares, nor did I spend a single cent of your money. Do you know why? Hu Jinghai shook his head. Because I'm not your daughter. What? Hu Jinghai was shocked. I'm not your daughter, but I'm also not my mother and Jingda's daughter. I'm not their child. Hu Jinghai didn't know what to say. You might be surprised, but I was too when I first found out the truth. So now I have some questions for you. You have to tell me the truth. Okay, ask away. After the initial shock, Hu Jinghai seemed to have calmed down. I heard that you did a DNA test for me, so the doctor in the test report. Did you get it yourself? No, Jingda gave it to me. The doctor who gave me the report was my former personal doctor. Jingda had been my chauffeur for many years, so he knew him. We went to him and he gave me the report, Guning said. Didn't you have any suspicions at the time? Huamin asked. Yes, I did, so I called my personal doctor again. He said the results were correct. So your private doctor might have been bribed by Jingda, so they colluded? Huamin thought about this segment. Just as he had expected, everything was controlled by Uncle Jing. I heard that you gave Uncle Jing 200,000 yuan to get rid of my mother. Did you really give him the money? Yeah, I gave him cash and he personally came to the company's finance department to get it. At the time, I thought that if he took the money, your mother wouldn't continue to cause trouble for me and continue to expose things from the past. That was the end of it, Hu Jinghai carefully recalled. But Jingda didn't give the money to my mother. I've confirmed with my mother that she didn't receive such a huge sum of money. Hu Jinghai, so it's very likely that Jingda used the money to bribe those people. But why would he do that? Hu Jinghai was a little surprised. He hid my identity. He didn't want anyone, including my mother, to know that I'm not your child or hers. But Rong was pregnant at the time. If you're not my child, then where's my child? Hu Jinghai was sure that Yang Meirong was pregnant with his child because they spent a lot of time together during that time. But if Huamin wasn't his child, then where was the real Hua family child? Where did it go? Chapter 1276. I'm not sure, I've been looking into it. I'm afraid that Jingda is the only one who knows the truth, but he's already dead. Huamin said calmly. Hu Jinghai fell silent. I'm not your daughter, so I won't take a single cent from the Hua Corporation. That's my principle. You came to me for help, but I have no reason to help you. I don't want to get involved in the Hua family's internal conflict. I know. Hu Jinghai sighed. He thought about how ridiculous his life was. Other than Hu Yanyan, he didn't have any biological children. Not Huasiqian, not Huasi, and not even Huamin. This was karma. Thinking about Hu Yanyan, he suddenly asked, "Have you heard from Yanyan recently? Can you ask her to come and see me one last time? I don't think I can make it." Hu Min hesitated for a moment and then slowly said, "I saw Hu Yanyan a few days ago. She got married." Married? Hu Jinghai was a little surprised. Recently, the Hu family had undergone a lot of changes and it seemed like everyone's fate was changing every day. Yes, she married a relatively ordinary man and lived a relatively ordinary life, but I feel that the man treated her quite well. That's good, that's good. I don't think Hu Xiqian would be able to get Hu Yanyan to come and see you, so are you sure you want her to come? Hu Jinghai thought about it and felt like Hu Min had a point. Take care of yourself. I have to go now. After speaking, Hu Min stood up. Me? He suddenly shouted. Hu Min turned around. Hu Jinghai struggled to take off the jade ring on his left thumb. Then he handed it over. Give this to your mom as a memento. I, Hu Jinghai, have had so many women in my life, but only a few of them were true to me. Jiang Hong and I got married because of our mutual benefits. Not only did we not have feelings for each other, we even saw each other as a thorn in our side. I doted on that bitch Xinjiani for her entire life, but she heartlessly betrayed me and schemed against me. Your mom was the only one who truly loved me. Unfortunately, she missed the opportunity. There's no need for that, right? Hu Min didn't want it. Take it, it's the last thing I have. I know she's not short of money, I just want to keep it as a souvenir. Hu Jinghai insisted. Hu Min couldn't resist, so he carefully took the jade thumb ring. I'll pass it on to her. Mian, I have two things to tell you. Although you're not my daughter, I think we're destined to be together. Go ahead. Hu Min quietly looked at Hu Jinghai, who was on the verge of death. First of all, Jingde isn't an honest man. He's not as honest as he looks. He's very shrewd and has lied to me for many years. I didn't realize it until later. Now that you mention it, he even hid your identity. I don't know where he hid my child. If you have a chance to find her in the future, I hope you can bring her to my grave to see me. After all, she's my child. If you want me to, I will. Hu Min nodded. Second, you have to be careful of Hu Xiqian. He is someone who's capable of doing anything. You and Qinchu have to be careful, I think he might do something bad to you. I know. Hu Min nodded. When Hu Min finally walked out of the room, her heart was heavy. She carefully put the ring away, put it in her bag and walked out. Already? Emichim, do you want me to drive you? Hu Xiqian chuckled. It's okay, I sent Qinchu a WeChat message. He's coming to pick me up. Hu Min refused Hu Xiqian's offer to escort her. When she walked out of the mansion, Qinchu's car arrived as well. He drove the company's black Audi A8. Hu Min immediately got into the car and drove away. Hu Xiqian smiled with a complicated expression on his face. Then he turned around and went upstairs. What are you doing here? Get out, Hu Jinghai cursed with difficulty. You old thing, you're still causing trouble for me even when you're about to die. Then Hu Xiqian grabbed a pillow and walked over. What do you want? Hu Jinghai's face was pale, and his body trembled as he watched Hu Xiqian approach him. Chapter 1277. You've lived long enough. I'll send you on your way. Hu Xiqian smiled evilly. Bastard, how dare you? Hu Jinghai never thought that Hu Xiqian would dare to attack him so openly. He wanted to fight back, but there was nothing he could do. He was injected all day and had no strength left in his body. Hu Xiqian walked over and looked at Hu Jinghai one last time. Leave the Hu Corporation to me, you can go in peace. Dead. After speaking, Hu Xiqian lifted a pillow with both hands and covered Hu Jinghai's face with it. Hu Jinghai struggled with all his might, but it was to no avail. In less than 3 minutes, Hu Jinghai stopped struggling after that. His hand slowly fell. Hu Xiqian removed the pillow and looked at Hu Jinghai's pale face. He pulled the blanket up a little. Dad, have a good dream. He smiled faintly and slowly walked out of the room. When he reached the door, he raised his hand, turned on the switch and took out a small listening device. Then he went downstairs. Sir, you're not staying for dinner? The maid asked. No, my dad's asleep, don't disturb him. Call me if you need anything. Okay, sir. Then Hu Xiqian drove his Rolls-Royce Welcome out of the suburban mansion. After Hu Min got into the car, he didn't say a word. Qinchu raised his hand and touched her face. Are you in a bad mood? Hu Jinghai is dying. Yeah, isn't that normal? Huasiqian never lets go of the people he wants to deal with. It's his style to eliminate the source of trouble. Qin Chu thought that it was normal. It would be strange if Huasiqian was willing to let Hu Jinghai live and feed him. I told him about that. You did? Aren't you afraid that Huasiqian has planted a bug in the room? Hu Mian shook her head. I'm not afraid. I think Huasiqian knows about my past anyway, so I might as well tell Hu Jinghai everything. He also confirmed some things from back then. What is it? Uncle Jing isn't that simple. I'm also curious if he brought me back to pretend to be a child of the Hu family, then where did the real child go? This matter can't be investigated in a short period of time. Don't worry. Qin Chu reached out his hand and placed it on the back of Hu Min's hand to comfort him. Right now, the biggest worry in Hu Min's heart was the mystery of his birth. Rick also told Qin Chu to stop investigating. All the clues about Hu Min's background had been cut off, and all the people who had investigated the matter had disappeared. This was not a good sign. However, Qin Chu had been secretly investigating this matter, because he didn't want Hu Min to have any regrets. I'm fine, honey. You don't have to worry about me. Hu Min hugged Qin Chu's arm with both hands. You're speaking so clearly. Are you sober now? Qin Chu was both angry and amused. I think I'm sober now. After all this, it was already midnight. Hu Min didn't feel dizzy or nauseous anymore. It seemed like his alcohol tolerance was also increasing. After returning to South Hill Manor, the two of them went to bed early. The next morning, the headlines spread throughout Sea City. Hu Jinghai, the chairman of the Hu Corporation, passed away in his private mansion last night. Hu Min's heart skipped a beat. Although they weren't related by blood, hearing the news of his death was still heartbreaking. Hu Min had just gotten out of bed to wash her face when she received a call from her mother. Min, did you see the news? Yeah, I just saw it. Is it true? Is he really dead? Yang Meirong's voice trembled. Wait for me, I'll go see you right away. Sky Blessing Court. Yang Meirong grabbed onto Hu Min's hand. Now what happened? How did it happen so fast? I didn't hear anything about him being hospitalized. How did he die? You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.